Welcome everyone, I'm Nick, also known as the IPP guy. In this video, I'd like to talk more about why I chose to get an inflatable penile prosthesis, also known as an IPP, and some of the things that were part of my journey. I hope that whether you are going through this on your own or maybe you are partnering somebody who's going through this, I hope that the feedback from this video will help you in your process. Okay, so to be fair, I believe that I was struggling with ED for much of my life. That's a little bit hard to sort of come to grips with, but now that I have an IPP and I know what a full, sustainable, rigid erection should feel like, I can look back on my life and question whether or not I even ever experienced that ever before getting the IPP implant. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had intimate experiences, I've had partners and been with people, and I've always sort of figured out a way to make it work. I was able to sort of mentally get there and be able to do the things that I needed to be able to make for an enjoyable, intimate experience, whether that included foreplay or whatever else that was needed to sort of compensate for what was going on with me. The first time that I ever talked to my doctor about having these considerations was when I was probably 17 years old. I was first starting being sexually active, and I told my doctor that I wasn't necessarily able to perform in the way that I was thinking I should. And at that time, they told me I was too young to be having these issues and that it was all in my head. Unfortunately, I went for many years thinking that was the answer and that I had no other resolution. And also not getting the best feedback from your medical professional led me to look for other options that probably weren't healthy for my body. And so I've tried a number of things. I've tried a lot of the ED pills that you've probably heard about, from Viagra to Cialis. I've also tried what they call gas station boner pills, I guess. And some of those have worked, some of them haven't. But as I've mentioned before, they always came with side effects, headaches, sinus issues, stomach issues, mood change, all of these elements that would really affect my day for 2 to 3 days sometimes after taking these pills. When the time came that I learned that pills weren't the only option, I also learned about the injectables that they have available for men. And so if you're not familiar with it, then for those that the pills don't work for, the next option is an injectable directly into your male anatomy. The two options to select from for the injectable include either Bimix or Trimix, which are two different formulas, basically liquid Viagra or liquid Cialis. I tried those injectables, but at the end of the day, they weren't practical for me. The idea of being able to have to inject yourself all the time or wait multiple days before you can inject yourself again, there were just too many variables to where I knew this wasn't going to work. So it was at this point that I realized that both the pills and the injections weren't working. And when I talked to a lot of other men, they say when I knew that those options weren't going to work, I didn't know what else to do. And that's where the IPP comes in handy. Now, I didn't even know that the IPP was a technology that existed until I did the research, and I hope that if you're in the same boat that you found your way here today to know that there are more options than just pills and injectables. And if the pills and injectables don't work for you, you're not out of hope. There are still solutions that will allow you to have amazing, intimate experiences, much likely better than what you had on the pills or injectables. And that solution is going to be the IPP. Personally, I was single when I decided to get the IPP, and I went through the process on my own. And that goes to show that you can do this on your own if you are someone who is wanting to make this decision. But if you also have a partner during this process, I think that that can also be really beneficial too, because then you have someone that you can discuss these elements with and that you know is in your corner. I hope that this video has given you a little bit of insight into why I personally chose an IPP. And I hope the story that I shared about the pills and the injectables and all of the various elements that come with those options, how much of an effect that they can have on people. And if you're somebody who found yourself saying, well, those things didn't work, and so I must be out of options, I hope that this video has allowed you to realize that you're not, and that there are other solutions that can allow you to start performing like you once did, or like you never have before, like my case. And outside of just wanting to educate people about the value of the IPP, I really genuinely care about people having great connections with their partners and being able to communicate effectively. And I know that there are too many scenarios that unfortunately a relationship might come to an end due to inadequate intimacy or an inability to effectively communicate as to what is happening during those intimate moments. So I hope that by sharing my story with you, that it provides insight that you maybe previously hadn't considered. If you are in a relationship and maybe your intimacy is leading, or lack thereof, is leading to various other issues, then please don't feel like you're at the end of the road. There are more solutions to consider. And if you have any other questions about the IPP and how it might help you, then feel free to shoot me a message and I'm here for you. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for my videos so that you are in the loop every single time that I release a new video. Thank you so much for watching this video on why I chose to get an inflatable penile prosthesis, and I hope that it helped you today. As always, be kind to yourself and be kind to others.